You're listening to The Jake Asman Show on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better parts, better prices every day. Our phone number to get involved is 800-224-2004. You can find me on Twitter at Jake Asman. That's JakeAsman. So the Atlanta Falcons are sitting there with the fourth pick in the draft. If you look at how things are going to go on April 29th, it's safe to say a fellow by the name of Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first pick in the NFL draft. Then at number 2, all signs point to Zach Wilson being the guy for the Jets with that second pick. At number 3, it appears like the Niners are going with Mac Jones. Now, we could debate if that's the right pick or not. I don't love it, but I have said over and over again, in Kyle Shanahan I trust. But if they go Mac Jones, like a lot of people think they will, what does that mean for the rest of the draft? Well, it means the Falcons dictate how things are going to go in the draft from 4 on. Because they could take Justin Fields at 4. They could take Trey Lance at 4. They could trade down and get a huge haul. Or they could take maybe the best player in this draft and Kyle Pitts. Best player in the draft, you can make a case, is the tight end from Florida. They got options. But they also have a quarterback in place in Matt Ryan that I still believe is a damn good player. And I still believe you could win a lot of games with. And if I'm the Atlanta Falcons, rather than taking my chance on one of these quarterbacks in the 4th spot, unless I have conviction on one of these guys, and I think that, Justin Fields or Trey Lance or can't miss, I'm trading out. I'm getting a huge haul for that 4th pick. And if it's the Denver Broncos who want to come up to from number 9 to 4, I make that deal. I think if you're the Atlanta Falcons and you finally got rid of Dan Quinn, probably 2 years later than you should have, don't you want to give Matt Ryan a chance with Arthur Smith, see what he could do? I mean, what have we always said about the Atlanta Falcons the last couple of years? How did they lose that game? How did they blow that game, right? Isn't that the thing we've always said with the Falcons? How many games have we put on, red zone, late 1 o'clock window, and you're just baffled how the Falcons are going to lose another one? Why not give Matt Ryan a chance with competent coaching by Arthur Smith and give Matt Ryan a chance to take that team back to the playoffs in a division that's in flux? Carolina has Sam Darnold playing quarterback. We don't know what he will be. The Saints don't have Drew Brees. They're in flux at the position. I don't think anyone is in love with Jameis or Taysom Hill yet. If you're the Atlanta Falcons, why wouldn't you invest in a bunch of picks and trade out of number 4? Matt Ryan is still a capable quarterback. I mean, does anyone watch Matt Ryan and think he can't play anymore? No. Matt Ryan's good. I mean, the pick in front of the Falcons for the 3rd best quarterback just went for 2 firsts and a 3rd. If you're the Falcons, why wouldn't you make a similar deal? Especially if it's Denver that wants to move up from 9. Or what if it's New England that wants to move up from 15? See, the more quarterbacks go early, the better players are still going to be there when you're picking. And you have holes all over your team on defense. You could use a corner badly. So I'm in favor of trading out, sticking with Matt Ryan, who I still think is a good player that's been failed by the coaching around him the last couple of years, and give him a real chance here. I mean, if you trade back to 9 and you could get, I don't know, Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase, or if you don't want to go wide receiver because you think you're good on offense, Patrick Surtain could possibly be there, the corner. You could take the best edge rusher in that spot. There's options for the Falcons. And you add future assets where if Matt Ryan bombs out, at least you have picks next year to go and get your guy if you need to do that. But why are we in such a rush to give up on Matt Ryan? Matt Ryan's still a good player. I know he doesn't move like today's quarterback, right? He's not Patrick Mahomes in the pocket. He's not Deshaun Watson. But it wasn't that long ago Matt Ryan won an MVP. He doesn't even need to be MVP Matt Ryan. I mean, Matt Ryan's the 2nd best quarterback in that division right now, surrounded with some players, some talent, some better coaching. You remember last year when the Falcons lost 2 straight games where they had, 16-point leads in the 4th quarter? 16! So this is a team that won 4 games last year, blew at least 4 more. with some confident coaching, are they not competing for a playoff spot in an NFC that has 7 teams that get in? I would stick with Matt Ryan, and I would trade out. The draft starts with the Falcons at 4, but I think it's a no-brainer. You trade out, and you give Matt Ryan a legit chance to win. That's what I would do. And you know what? How about this for another idea? If you don't want to trade out, go get Kyle Pitts with the 4th pick in the draft. Why not? Kyle Pitts, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Matt Ryan. Who's stopping that team if Arthur Smith is just confident? I mean, look what Arthur Smith did with Tannehill. He can't do the same thing with Matt Ryan. I mean, Matt Ryan's already better than Ryan Tannehill in my mind, Kevin.
Yeah, and you make a great point about the division being in flux right now. It is kind of up for grabs, and I think Matt Ryan probably does still have a little bit left in the tank. I mean, he is 35. He's been around a long time. He's taken a lot of hits. You know, he's been through it. And I think that you do make a lot of good points there. But, and I'm not saying this is how I feel, but I think the general consensus, when you think of Matt Ryan and you think of the Falcons, you think of 24-3. And that's all
28-3, actually.
28-3. I see. There you go. And nobody is ever going to disassociate that with Matt Ryan. That is forever going to be what Matt Ryan is known for. Was that Super Bowl all on him? No, of course not. There was bad coaching. There was bad play calling. It took everything to go wrong for the Falcons in that Super Bowl. But Matt Ryan's the quarterback. He's the rich guy. He's the veteran. He's been around forever. He's the team leader. That's on him, and that's people's perception of Matt Ryan, and it always will be. And the fact that they have blown all these games in the past few years, like you said, doesn't help to change people's minds on that. So there's a perception about Matt Ryan, and,
you're right.
And it's going to be hard for him to change that.
You're right. But that's why I think you stick with him. You give him a chance. Give him someone not named Dan Quinn coaching him for a couple of years and see how that goes. I mean, you look at Matt Ryan's numbers. How many NFL teams right now would be killing themselves if they could get a guy that is still going out there and throwing for 25 touchdowns and over 4,000 yards? I mean, how many guys would kill for that? Matt Ryan last year threw 26 touchdowns, had 11 interceptions, completed 65% of his passes, and had 4,580 yards passing. He's the only thing that's been a positive with that team the last couple of years. I mean, they'd win 2 games without him. He's a good player. I don't understand the need to take the 4th best quarterback maybe in that spot. Now, I'll say what I said at the top here. If they love Justin Fields and he's there, then I won't blame them if they take him. But you better be right. You're Terry Fontenot. You're the first-year GM of that team. If you believe that he is the, steal of the draft, that he is a franchise guy that fell to you in the 4th spot, you could take him. You could take him. But just know that you also could have had Kyle Pitts in that offense. Or you could have drafted Jamar Chase or Patrick Surtain. The Falcons are really fascinating here. We've spent so much time talking about the Jets. They made their decision with Darnold. Then we moved on to the Niners with their trade. And it seems like all signs point to Mac Jones being their guy. I mean, the Falcons are in a very unique situation here. They still got a quarterback that's playing well. And he's going to be 36 this year, but we've seen guys in the NFL at that position now playing to their 40s. It's not uncommon. Are they that far away if they stick with Matt Ryan and trade down and get a couple more picks to help the roster? I think the answer is no. That's what I would do. And then think about this, though. If they do take a quarterback at 4, does someone move up to 5 with the Bengals to trade up to get the last guy on the board? Could we have 5 straight quarterbacks go in the draft? It's crazy enough we're going to have 3. But there's some real thought that Atlanta could go quarterback at 4. So, Kevin, then the Bengals sitting there at 5. I mean, what if a team comes calling and wants to move up, wants to get, the last guy left, Trey Lance? We keep hearing Washington loves Trey Lance. Move up from 19 to 5? I could see it.
See, that's the trap that a lot of these bad teams and perennially bad teams fall into is they just, we got to get a quarterback, got a quarterback. And you look at how many times it's happened where teams just reach and then, they draft Blaine Gabbert. And I think there's a couple Blaine Gabberts in this draft.
There certainly could be. I mean, bust rate will show you with first-round quarterbacks. It's about 50%. So as much as we love all 5 of these guys right now, at least 2 of them are about to be bust. That's how it usually goes. Coming up next, we'll talk all things Jets and Sam Darnold with Maggie Gray from The Fan in New York City. Stay tuned.